I don't know. Who would you say won that? I'd say Jason. Jason has the edge there.
Jason.
Very stoic throughout.
Yeah, he does stress me out when he stares me down as well, though. So
he does.
Yeah.
He has a cheeky stare, I'd say.
Intimidating.
A cheeky but intimidating stare. Look, he's giving you one right now.
Oh, God.
Goodness me. Never do that again.
Yeah.
That's very, very scary. We're going to be getting into Vikendi, though, and the plane is going to sail straight down the river. Sail, fly. Let's go with fly.
Yeah. It doesn't have sails on this thing, which is fine. But honestly, this is going back to what I was talking about before we checked out that marvelous little staring competition. Loops, Lee mentioned these guys, and they're going to have to play very tenaciously if they want to be able to win this map. And that's kind of their playstyle overall. They go in really, really hard, really, really fast. And I do worry a little bit for them, but with this specific circle, things are way, way easier. They don't have to move too much. They've only got the Unnamed to deal with. And throughout this tournament, the Unnamed really haven't had one of those pop-off matches as of yet. And I would say Loops, I would put them on the rankings a little bit higher at the moment in terms of power.
They're ramping up. You know, the scouters are starting to beat. They're starting to go, hang on a minute. These guys, their power level's increasing. Yeah, so maybe we should keep track of. We'll see if we can keep track of that moving forwards. And of course, as we were saying before, RRQ, you know, how they have to try and continue it. It's not going to be in this game. Of course, they're not playing here. Wow, Archer's starting off strong against Konina Power, getting a frag and a flush as well. Black-White falls, and it looks like the engagement isn't going to stop there. Robdini very, very close around the corners of this stairway. And it looks like they do want to push on forwards. Not going to find anyone in that bathroom, unfortunately. That's a DBS. In these close-range situations, it is brutal to take that fight there. You can see he's got 14 in the clip, and ready to pump that lead straight into Robdini as soon as he steps out of line.
Running upstairs. He's escaping. And Sue there. Not too bad from him. Right now, Konina Power, they're not happy about this. They've had to fight over Picardo on Miramar. Now they even have to fight over their drop spot here in Vikendi. It's just very stressful for them. And if I'm Konina Power, I really want to, you know, make a statement at least somewhere. I don't want to have to be constantly on the run, constantly galloping away from these fights. But if I had to make a prediction for a team, you know, I'm gonna go all in with the desk over here. I'm 2 for 2 right now. I'm gonna go with Nova XQF. They brought King in. Obviously, today we've not seen massive things out of them, but you know, King is the player that they were with in PEC where they did so well, and honestly, they've had a couple of warm-up games now. This is where I want to see them shine on Vikendi. I want to see them get a nice position early and just fend off teams. When they're able to play this kind of play style that Vikendi almost forces you to, where it's like, take a compound, hold it down. That's where I see Nova SQF do very well. And there's been stressful moments before where on our angle it actually allows them too much freedom. And they take advantage of that. And Nova is just off the leash. Here on Vikendi, you do have the Vikendi collar, which keeps you in check.
Fair enough. We'll see if that Vikendi collar is going to keep them in line, as you say. Shinhei from 4 Angry Men has gone up a little bit further north towards Volnova. You can see number 12 on the minimap. That is the 4 Angry Men outpost right now. So should be aware, should be scouting out these teams. And if there's more fighting to go through, they'll have some good ideas as to who is going to be there. And the fact that there's 2 teams there instead of just 1 dropping. So if a fight does pop off, that's going to give 4 Angry Men a lot of information down the south edge. And of course, this is such a tricky part of rotation. You have to go all the way across the map. Having that info on the start is a good way to go. And now that those shots have come off, Shinhei feeds that information back. And if there's one thing we know about 4 Angry Men, it's that their communication is on point.
Powerful. Going back to the very beginning game of today, on our angle, they knew exactly what they needed to do in those last circles where they had Power 888 pushing them. They knew we can go for a res because all that information was being fed back all the time. Even Golden from Loops was nowhere to be found in the last circle just because of how easy it was for 4AM to feed information across, get those crossfires going. I love that from 4AM. They're sending Svan in over on that way too after he's now looted up, just waiting on Suk as well as Hasaki to make their way down from Winery. But Shinhei, like you said, that forward scout, he'll provide information on this when he sees shooting coming through, and then he will be that piston ready to pop off as soon as he sees the right time to go for that. Even just 1 knock is perfect because that provides time for the rest of the team to come through.
God, he's ready to sing his heart out on those rooftops. He's standing right there, but Raven standing around the corner, and it's the Abrupt Slayers who take 1 knock, but it's been answered onto Q. Actually, Leon with the Bison will be able to swing out wide and get the flush there. So it's 1 for 1 on the trade, but a couple more knocks have come through in the meantime as well for these squads. You can see Abrupt Slayers, they've lost Joker there as 1 more soon to fall, and Leon now last standing, looting up his teammate. Oh, sorry, his enemy. as he is going to be able to find that body, but Raven looks to try and take the fight. It's actually Ran who gets it first, swings out around the hangar doors, hits the deck for Leon and up over onto the bridge. He's laid bare. And that's going to be Raven picking up the carrion.
Nice little fight there from the Unnamed, finishing up Abrupt Slayers. Obviously, they got that initial knock through, which is very, very nice indeed. But now they're down a single player. They can't hold into Cosmodrome as effectively as they did before. A team like Loops could come through. We know Alpha 7 love to rotate very early once they get that loot on board. And you can see Lords already in position, but it looks like Loops know this position's here. So Alpha 7, they have to be a bit wary. They won last time on Vikendi, did a really, really strong job of it. I was very, very proud of them. And they are a team that once they have all 4 members in a compound, they tend to do pretty well. Carrillo is just not able to make that happen though. And this is where you'd want your long distance specialist, Dadine. That guy is incredible. And I'm curious as to why they've brought Golden in. Not saying that Golden's a bad player at all, but Dadine was just so far ahead of everyone else in that first week. It's just a little bit confusing.
See how Golden's able to step up to the mark, though. I'm sure there's a reason he's on this roster.
Absolutely.
It's a very strong roster indeed. I mean, we've seen Carrillo be such a dominant force in several different tournaments, so maybe they're looking to alter that playstyle just a little bit, or give him a chance to play on a game day, potentially even trying to slot that in, because maybe they're confident that they're going to be able to qualify, and they just feel like it's more valuable to them, rather than getting points here, to actually get that sort of training, that experience on board for their full roster. At the moment, Loops sat in 9th place with 17 points, so they're doing okay. You know, these games will have an impact. They'll have to try and get a couple more, as we saw on the last week. 53 was the cutoff, as I predicted. They'll see if they can get a couple more. Secret Jin, though, rolls straight up onto Power 888's compound. We've seen a couple of fights go pretty sour for the defending team here. A lot of nade damage can be done and keep that pressure on. We'll see if they're able to hold it down, but Power 888 stops, goes down first, and caught with a nade out, takes half HP on the health bar there, caught quite low, and goes down to the micro Uzi. Nice trade on the outside. But Isis is there to pick up the pieces, trade it off as the full squad, the full force there from Secret Jin just turns the corner and wipes them clean. Now just one player left on the defense, goes down very, very low. I don't know if you're going to be able to get out of this one.
Goes around the side, pre-fires there, nice and easy for Team Secret Jin. A little bit of a sleeper team in my opinion. I think they do pretty damn well a lot of times, and they just kind of fall off slightly earlier. I think they just don't have that massive kill potential like other teams do in this lobby, but they're already proving as to us that they do have it on board. And I really like the way they didn't give up the initial floor of that building too easily and then just got easily naded out on the top side. They pushed down and then thwarted that push going forward. So very, very happy with the way they dealt with that. Konina Power just being followed around right now by archers.
Wow. Just getting popped every single time they try and make a move. It's unfortunate for Konina Power, but it doesn't look like they're going to be able to escape Villanova. Well, certainly not unharmed, Blank. You've still got Janae waiting in the wings as well, remember, and 4 Angry Men have yet to make that move. They're still in the south. It seems like the Blue Zone's their friend today.
No, I mean, they're happy to sit in it for the time being. It's just a tickle. Just a tickle at the moment before they start to move forwards to the north side. Obviously, like you say, Xinhei still in the wings. And I was talking a moment ago about how 1 knock can be absolutely critical, and it can be. Yeah, 1 knock, it really stunts the push from the rest of the team, because they're like, do we come back? Do we pick them up? Either way, it's a free point or a squad wipe. Or if you absolutely fluff it, it's absolutely nothing, and your team will die in return. But I don't really expect that from 4AM, especially with the positioning they're starting to take around this area. This could be 2 squad wipes for them if they play the cards right.
Gonzo, look at him, he's just hiding, biding his time.
Looking at the bed, is it time to sleep?
Is it time to sleep? Well, his teammates who's going to be taking a nap right now. Rubdini and Black White going down early. Konina Power down to 2. Of course, Power 888, the first team to fall so far. Abrupt Slayers, sorry, were a little bit earlier. Second team to fall, now Power 888. Alpha 7 waiting in the wings. This is the central set of Vikendi, and this is something we talk about almost every time. On Vikendi, teams go central, they go there early, and they try to move as little as possible, just keeping their eyes out.
I like what Nova XQF are doing right now. They're trying to hold onto the edge side. They do this very frequently. Now, if I was to look forward, I can tell you one of 2 things that will happen is that Nova XQF will typically just stay around Podvosto and try and hold out as many teams as possible and go down in that 10th downwards placing. Or they will make a move northwards and try and find a compound in the circle. Second is way more preferable to me. I mean, so far, Nova XQF has just been very, very bold and holding these edges of the map, but it looks like they are actually going to move instantly across the bridge, try and push up on this eastern side, and this makes me so, so happy. I think many times I've said, look, this is cool from Nova XQF. They're trying to hold out teams on the edge side, but it's not worked out for them. So there has been a change that's been made here, and they're starting to move out into, you know, greener pastures.
Aita-chan, I think he knows there's someone in here by the way he's moving. He's peeking and keeping his gun out. The rest of the Blue Bees might be sending in, but Alpha 7 getting crashed upon. Secret Jin, they seem to have started off with 2 players going down, but they find one. Who's this on the sideline? Sagin gets taken down by Cosmos, and that is crucial here. Secret Jin, they're crashing everybody this time around, Blank. I mean, they've already wiped one, but they're out for more. 4 kills on the cards, 2 for Alpha 7 as Law getting rezzed, but we're now in a 2 versus 4, and the defenders are on 2.
I call them the sleeper team, but it looks like the alarm has finally gone off, and they're starting to pop but down. That was one fight after another, and Alpha 7's down to 2. Axa on his own as well.
1 versus 4 right now. 2 players have gone down. He's low HP, but he's holding the doorway.
No way!
Not going to be able to get another one. Not quite, but Blue Bees, they're right on the edge of the zone and have to move quickly. Another fight popping off, though, as Law gets first knock onto the fray, but gets traded off. This is brutal. 2K moves forwards now. Brings out the MP5, trying to turn the corner, go for the fight, but who won that one? I've no idea. Oh, it's 2K goes down. Okay.
Yeah, Vitu, 2K able to hold that down, gets the flush through as well. A little bit confusing with Vitu 2K versus 2K. Now the rest of the team's going to try and make their way in. Vitu 2K has to make big plays here to hold this one down. Kengzo's not quite with his teammate as of yet, so it's starting to get dire as Aerowolf Limax start to head in from the side and Loops. They're going to take the chance on this fight too.
Oh, Law goes down to a Molotov. GZ pops it into the room and Vitu 2K burns a little bit as well. A lot of damage found, but the knock is there on the off angle. Hazelnuts sent packing by Loops, but continuing to put pressure on this fight. Kengzo, this is the player you said we were looking out for. Drops a nice molly there. That puts a lot of pressure, but stops his advance. Vitu 2K with a little bit of respite.
This is a beautiful Molotov. Forces away from the door. There's only one position he can really hide in, but some way, Vitu 2K is able to skirt away from that nade, from the explosion, and now he can survive a little bit longer. And now Team Secret Jin, they have to deal with other assailants, and maybe Alpha 7 can start to ladder up just a little bit.
Goodness me, this is pretty action-packed for Vikendi, Blank, and Loops continue to keep us entertained there with another knock onto Secret Jin. Loops not quite making the push yet, but they're waiting in the wings. Aerowolf Limax. There's 2 teams in this compound. How much are you going to be able to find? And there goes Loops starting to put that pressure on. Kengzo goes down. Now just Cosmos standing for the squad. Gets GZ back up, but is going to fall down himself. A nade placement from Aerowolf Limax sees to it that that's going to happen. A nade into the bathroom. Looks to put the pressure on yet again. They're caught like rats in a trap, but they're going to fight. Backs to the wall. They come out swinging. One goes down, but Cosmos can't quite get it done. Aerowolf Limax, they drop 2, and now Loops have a chance.
Fantastic usage of the flashbang there. Throws it through the little window. There's nowhere they can hide from that flashbang unless you dunk your head in the toilet, but I don't think they want to be doing that today. But after that, Aerowolf Limax is able to clean up that fight. But more teams start to come in. Loops has been so patient on this fight, waiting on the northern coast this entire time, knowing that many teams will want to grab this compound, but they don't want to go too early. They want to grab it after everyone else. Nova XQF, another team I'm looking at, they set themselves up perfectly on the southeast side of this circle to hold out teams who are rotating all the way on that eastern road. There is so much action popping off of Vikendi. This is such a fantastic map to watch.
Just a quick update on the teams on the southeast. There's a huge glut before this fight pops off, but seems like I'm not even going to get a chance, but bullets are flying. So many teams rotating on the southeast. That's going to be a hot spot for fighting, as this is, because they're all going to be pushing towards this compound, which has been such a crux of action. 2 knocks come through. That's actually the flush over on towards Hazelnuts, and Loops continue to put the pressure onto Aerowolf Limax. Throughout this all, by the way, Blank, Vitu 2K has been hiding in his bathroom, scared, frightened out of his mind, but he's surviving, and that is the crucial part here. A lot of damage being pumped on out and through the wall there. Golden finds the knock. Loops swing in with the duo, and they're going to be able to take down Aerowolf Limax very, very low. A couple more players left to go.
Nova XQF are actually on track to crash into this fight if they continue going the way they are right now. And there is so much third partying going through. Such a high priority compound at the moment. That's Alpha 7 finally going down. Vitu 2K did a fantastic job to live as long as he did. Being blinded, cooked up by the Molotov, naded as well. He was very, very much down on his luck.
He needed to try and get some kill points there. There was no way he was getting out alive from that one, and no points really for placement at that stage. So maybe just try and get a frag, maybe two. Ladder up a little bit more, because you definitely want to keep that one going for Alpha 7. Now the fight's starting to engage between the Blue Bees and 4 Angry Men. This is a distance fight though, Blank. Neither are in the other one's compound, which means that it is poke damage for the majority.
4AM are just trying to get closer to use those nades to their advantage, try and get them through the windows. We know these Chinese teams have a hell of a grenade arm on them, but right now they're just not close enough. And Zinhei off in the distance there, moving away. Now it's GODSENT who's actually crashing onto this compound. Nova SQF getting a little bit closer. Rollkiss tossing in the nades. Many players from Loops currently down.
Ooh, a nade over the top. Will it be cooked? Carrillo takes a tickle of damage, but a little bit shorter on that. Rollkiss, though, adjusts the timing, sends in another. Same angle. Carrillo runs for the hills, but gets spotted. Rollkiss with the spray, and now Reeves is going in. There's the backup from the rest of GODSENT as well. Federal around the corner, tries to get the spray, but it's not going to be enough to finish the kill. Carrillo is there, still just hunkering down in the corner, and a player from GODSENT already moves his way straight into the compound. Golden is going to go down. Nobody can hold this compound, but the Loops are starting to come back into the fight. Rollkiss
So close.
as well as Zuku is going to try and take the fight, but Zuku is going to fall, get flushed out. Federal holding it down, last player standing for Loops right now, gets the flush, turns the corner, Mike Ruzi in hand, but will be the last player for Loops to fall, and with that they are eliminated. As I said, nobody holding this priority compound so far.
I mean, it's not even named as a POI, but let's just rename this thing to Graveyard, because so many bodies have been buried in this area. 4AM
Wow.
goes down to a hella spray coming out from Archers.
It was a bold push, but Archers say no thank you. They take him straight out of that Dacia, stop the advance dead in its tracks. However, they are going to have to move for the next circle with 26 seconds left. Oh, Fabian, no way! Unsu,
I got you.
Unsu, there we go, is going to be able to land that nade and stop the pressure from Blue Bees. Reiji has to crawl back behind the tree, and they push out towards the blue. Not a lot of time, my friend. You want to be careful. If you get knocked here, there's going to be curtains.
Last 5 kills on board. Archer's feeling bold today. It's really nice after that couple of kills leading in versus Konina Power. 4AM were able to slip by on the eastern side, on the coast. They wanted to stay out of this fight as much as possible. Sure, they lost Sook, but they carry on with 3 players looking for those placement points. They know that that's where they start to shine if they continue to get those consistent points on board.
Finally, it looks like that priority compound has calmed down a little bit. GODSENT will have time to regroup, but they are only 3. Nova XQF over the hill, just about ready to take this push, and Archers as well sending in might just crash into the location if Blue Bees let them pass, that is. A lot of damage being found, and they're able to get 1 knock. Aeonsu as well, sending over the hillside. Not quite able to get knocked there from the Blue Bees, but oh, goodness me, that's Jimmy. Got the SLR atop the hill. There's no way you're getting out of that one.
That thing hits like a truck, even from distance. Blue Bees just looking to hold down this compound. I think that's one of the first times in this game that Nova XQF have kind of shown their face. They've kept moving, tried to hold these angles, tried to be aggressive, but constantly moving into this circle. It looks really good for them so far, but there are other teams in this area that we need to be more focused on right now. Nova XQF, slightly quiet, but I'm really happy they're playing. But 4AM, they're trying to make their way on that north side. The Unnamed, they will also have to move unless we'll have a hard shift down towards Cosmodrome.
Next circle just about to pop. We'll see where it lands, but Klas Digital Athletics right now locked in combat. Close range, and it's Zeus who are taking the W's right now, but Solus on the off angle will be able to find a knock in response. Ronin, very, very low. Looks like the bleed up will come through. That's actually GODSENT who were able to get that knock from earlier, so they managed to pick up that kill point. 3 players alive for Zeus. They should be able to get this res as well. Klas Digital Athletics down to 2.
Zeus is a team that we talked about at the beginning of the day.
I thought you could have just finished that sentence.
Zeus is a leading team.
They're a team.
They're a team. They're a right team. You can say that in many different ways. Zeus is a team. Or Zeus is a team, you know? You can get a lot of different emotions coming out, but Zeus is a team that we talked about at the beginning of the day. And we said they need to be a bit more aggressive, take some more of those positions. Max was saying in the scrims that actually they were being more aggressive and trying to get those kill points on board. So I'm really happy to see these teams are quickly identifying weaknesses and trying to patch them up as soon as possible. Loving the way Zeus is currently playing. They're a team that I always saw towards the end of circles. They have pretty decent rotations. They seem like they've got their heads screwed on. They just didn't have have that kill power on board. And now I'm happy to see that, you know what, there's a little bit more there now.
A little bit more. Zeus currently on the coastline and actually have a decent spot in this next circle. Because everyone's going to have to push towards them. No one's going to push through them, and probably no one's going to push to their position, which means they should be able to survive for a little bit longer. It's a question of how can they fight out from this spot if the circle moves away.
Exactly, John. I think the big thing is that GODSENT can't really afford to hold down Graveyard at the moment because that place was so hot and they lost a lot of players in the process of trying to hold on to it that they've just left it. I mean, that place is haunted at this point. I am not surprised that people tried to move away. You've got Reeves moving out towards the coastal side, just peeking his head over the top of the ridge, trying to gather some information going forward. 4AM actually have a pretty nice compound over both sides of the road so they can provide smoke as cover just in case the circle does move away from them. They have to cross.
Everyone biding their time. The next circle will pop pretty soon. Nova XQF, the only team that will have to move up just a little bit. You can see at the moment they're struggling to get past this duo from GODSENT. Order behind the tree. Looking for some shots, but still struggling to keep this pressure away from them. Drops a smoke as Jimmy does fall. King moves up to a rock in his Dacia. Tries to hop out there. Paraboy very, very low. Jimmy down behind a rock as well. They have to get these reses quick as the circle shifts to the coast. Zeus very happy.
Yeah, healing up. That is a pretty damn hard shift off to the north side of the map as well. And there's still a lot of water in this one. So much of this landmass is taken up already just because of how little amount of this land is still in the zone. 4AM's going to try and make their way in. Bluebees have been pushing their way as well. Nova, all the way on the south side, things get tough for them because they've got to push through a decent amount of teams with not that many players. They've only got 3 on board now. Losing King was pretty horrific for them.
Yeah, they lost him on the back there to a vehicle blowing up. Bluebees, they found themselves a divot as well. This was, I believe this was D-Man's prediction, correct me if I'm wrong, but at the start of the game, he wanted to see them win on Vikendi. But we'll have to wait and see for now if they're able to sneak out or sneak past. As 4 Angry Men are just up the hill from them. If they become aware of that position, that could be pretty much all she wrote on that one. Plenty of teams losing a player so far, but DRS have managed to escape this commotion unscathed on the western side.
Well, I mean, for now, they've really not been loud at all, been very, very passive in this game, but they're moving on over to the circle now, and they will have to take some fights at some point. Potato in this area, as well as the Unnamed, who had to move up from the southwest side. GODSENT currently holding out Nova XQF. 4AM as well as Bluebees on the eastern side are kind of deadlocked between one another. It's still Zeus looking very, very pretty in the middle of the circle.
God, look how GODSENT are just guarding Nova XQF. They saw that name in the kill feed and they just want the rest of it as well. Jimmy is going to fall and will be flushed as well. Paraboy now very split from Order. And they're playing pretty much as solos at this stage, Blank. If they get knocked, that is going to be it. There's no way that they can rotate and get the res in such a lay zone.
Paraboy has to drop down, try and make his way through into the circle. Painkillers are popped. Try and move as he hits those.
Roll Kiss is going to be facing, but drops back from the wall. They have to move out of the blue zone as well into the safe zone for the next circle. But it seems like Roll Kiss got a little bit of a heads up on Paraboy's position. He'll go down, and now it's just one player standing. It's Order, as Paraboy does get flushed, but very, very tricky journey ahead of Order as well to try and make it any further. The Unnamed coming under pressure from DRS, the team that had not lost any players into this lobby so far. They've done very, very well for themselves, but they will lose one as AJ falls as well. He is going to get rezzed, but they're pressured behind a rock as the circle shifts again coastward.
Yeah, GODSENT knows exactly where Order is right now, and he will be put down. Order goes down. That's Nova XQF out in 9th. DRS kind of using that man advantage to actually get into this circle. They have 3 players up there. Potato is just healing up. Zeus still within this one. And Archers actually have 2 players on opposite sides of the circle right now. And Zeus actually made it in and starts to go swimming.
Zeus might spot this, or the Bluebees may take a look out to the water. They have to be careful. The Bluebees have been chilling on this divot for quite a while, and you can see Lufa's just scanning the water for anyone who's going for a little bit of a swim. Southwestern edge, I believe that's Aerowolf Limax eliminated there to DRS, who have gone down a player. Nima did fall, as I said earlier. Now they have to try and push through GODSENT. It seems like GODSENT have been the gatekeepers of this lobby so far towards these final circles. They've stopped Nova XQF moving in. Now they're turning their attention to DRS. But with an aid like that, I think they might just have to let that gate swing wide. Breeze, though, echoes with some bullets to the ponts. Takes Blind down, but nades continue to pile on top. AJ holding forwards, getting the res on his teammate at the moment, but the circle is pressuring.
Blend obviously down. DRS is really considering whether to get him up, and actually they're just going to leave this one, try and get a better position with the circle. That's Archers down, and Sue also out. Bluebees, Seas side also losing a player. DRS dropping up onto Zeus's position.
They're so lucky that there's no one on this push behind them. Zeus, they're trying to hold this compound, and actually they might have two guests that they weren't ready to welcome. Nades being thrown both ways, and a couple of meds there, so this should be okay for now. Nades can now go back and forth. The question is, can 4 Angry Men capitalize? Can 4 Blue Bees as well come on through? A beautiful nade into the shack, and that is going to be DRS down and out.
Blue Bees, eastern side. They have this hillside as cover.
Look at Salam.
Yeah, Salam's still swimming. You can try and ladder up. Rollkiss is just healing outside of the zone. Could potentially go for a kill here, but he's just going to try and use those first aid kits for as long as possible. Zeus has had some unreal circle look today in Vikendi. That is crazy. It's directly on top of that compound. I don't think they've moved for a good 15 minutes from this position.
Yeah, and what a time for it to happen as well. They need to try and get into this Super Weekend after not qualifying last time around. Getting this sort of a performance on is so important. It's great for morale, if nothing else. And now 3 teams remain. They have the only compound, as you say. Klas Digital Athletics still with their solo Snake in the water, and Blue Bees with only 2 remaining, Divine and Aitachan.
There is a feasible chance for Blue Bees to make the 2v3. The issue is that Zeus has the compound. They've got walls to play off. It's going to be insanely difficult. Right now, a couple of the players are moving back. They've also got a Grozer on side, fully stimmed up. This is going to be so difficult for Blue Bees to make their way in after they've fought so much on that eastern side to get here. But we cannot say that Blue Bees haven't fought their hardest to get right to this moment in this game.
Salam got spotted there, but was able to dodge around.
Oh, but that's given time.
Might give him time. You're right. Divine goes low, though. And that's the Grozer. It's just going to pump out the damage. Divine falls low. Aitachan now, last standing for Blue Bees. And Salim! Oh, takes it down and ladders up. That's huge for Klas Digital Athletics. But it is Zeus to put the final nail in the coffin. A brilliant snaking performance there at the end. But Zeus, they strike from the north.